And so we've been talking about money in and money out of the business, right? Just keeping it general, giving you this knowledge of accounting because accounting is the language of business, period. You have to know what your business is doing. And it always comes down to numbers because you go to a bank, they are going to say, where's your P&L? Where's your balance sheet? Or can we create a balance sheet for you based on the information that you have about your business, what your sales look like, all of these various things. So I am going to talk about today the difference between cost of goods sold and just general operating expenses, okay? And I say that because on somebody's chart of accounts or a software's chart of accounts, there is something that says cost of goods sold. So I want to unwrap what that means, give a brief explanation of what the difference is, because there is a difference. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so Jessica Rambis, jrambis.com, accounting being the language of business, have knowledge, have money, and count your own bag is the YouTube channel. So again, when we talk about SG&A, right, or different expense classifications, I'm talking about these two primary ones because of this cost of goods sold that shows up in the chart of accounts. This is actually before your gross profit. But nonetheless, let's start off with SG&A. That stands for selling, general, and administrative expenses. These are not directly tied to production of a business, but they support the overall business operation. So I talked about the 5 top business expenses, such as rent, salaries, utilities, office supplies, all of those various general expenses. Selling expenses are attributed to advertising, sales commission, distribution costs, things of that nature. And then we talk about administrative expenses, the administration of the company, including executive salaries, legal fees, and services. So those are in relation to the last video I just did that says the top 5 business expenses, and then I give some other expenses such as insurance. That's what SG&A is. That's what we're most familiar with, I believe, is the SG&A expenses. Then we have the cost of goods sold, and we in accounting will call that COGS. That is direct costs associated with producing goods that accompany sales, the materials, labor, and manufacturing overhead. Anytime I hear cost of goods services or cost of goods sold, I think of manufacturing, because that's how it was taught in accounting. Now, I do have a client or two, or people just in general, businesses that have costs directly associated with the sale or the production of your product. Another thing is inventory. I put that in cost of goods sold. So when we talk about cost of goods sold from an accounting perspective, raw materials, and I put that, on my top 5 business expenses. So if there's production, if you're a manufacturing company or you're producing some kind of good, like a donut, I think is what I use, then the machinery to produce that donut is definitely a cost of goods sold, right? Direct labor, wages and salaries for employees directly involved in production. So that would be like a shop floor, people that work on the shop floor, that is going to be directly associated with producing the product. Manufacturing overhead, indirect costs such as utilities, depreciation, and equipment, and factory supplies. So like I said, I think of manufacturing or a manufacturing floor, shop floor, where it costs money to run that shop. It costs money for people to be in that building, the manufacturing building. And so that's where there is a difference between COGS and just your general operating expenses, which are selling, general, and administrative costs. Okay, so don't get caught up on COGS. It's the same thing. It's an expense to your business, but it's primarily, like I said, when you are involved with the production of a good or product that you're selling, right, or that you're going to sell. So that is a terminology effect on expenses. And go to my site, jrambis.com, and book a consultation. Jessica Rambis, count your own bag, and I will see you on the other side.